approach at 162. How was that?
Yes, very good.
We talk about the best ships for various types of criminals like pirates and smugglers all the time on this channel. In fact, I think we're due for another installment of those very soon. But those are for people using the ship to commit the crime. What about generic criminals who just need something to hop in and escape with after the fact? I'm Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and these are the best getaway ships in Star Wars. BD-680. My first recommendation for a getaway ship is the Corellian Engineering Corporation BD-680 Emergency Shuttle, and we'll keep it brief for this one because we know almost nothing about it. But its small and convenient size makes me think it would be great for this role. My criteria for getaway ships was that they be small, fast, and nondescript, and the BD-680 checks off at least 2 of the 3 just by looking at it. This ship is small enough to be carried aboard a JT-731 Broadhorn transport, and was small enough to escape the sensors of an Imperial Star Destroyer as seen when Kenobi dueled Vader after being discovered with the hidden path. While it is classified as an emergency shuttle, for whatever reason, it seems to be able to traverse the galaxy just like any other hyperdrive-equipped ship, and as such would be a great ship to escape in after doing whatever you've done to upset the authorities. The BD-680 measured 11.2 meters long by about 6 meters wide and 2.6 meters tall. None of its other stats are known or can be discerned from its few short scenes, but we can make some estimates. Its top speed could be about anything, but for its size I would guess possibly around 900 kilometers per hour. For its role, I would think it should have a Class 3 hyperdrive, but based on how it is used in the Kenobi series, it seems to be along the lines of a Class 1. It had a crew of 1 and could probably carry 1 to 5 passengers, 1 ton of cargo, and 1 week of consumables. Based on its size and simplicity, it probably cost around 20,000 credits. Rainhawk-class transport. Now, the Kuat Systems Engineering Rainhawk-class transport, also known as the Pantoran Cruiser, might be a controversial choice. It was fairly visually distinctive and not very fast, which does defy the arbitrary guidelines I came up with for this list, but it does appear to be popular enough that it at least wouldn't stand out too much in most places. However, the reason I chose it for this list, other than just being really cool and the right size, is that it had very advanced repulsor lifts that allow it to outmaneuver most starfighters even if it can't outrun them. This could be extremely beneficial in places like the Coruscant underworld, where it doesn't really matter what your ship's top speed is because you will never reach it weaving in and out of alleyways and tunnels. If you need to flee in a place like Tatooine or Lothal with lots of wide open spaces and a straight shot up to orbit, you will want one of the other ships on this list, but on dense urban planets, the Rainhawk's maneuverability will be a crucial asset. It also has passenger bunks for sleeping in if you need to hide out in it for a few days. The Rainhawk measured 20 meters long by about 10 meters wide and 8.5 meters tall. Its top speed was an adequate but not exceptional 700 kilometers per hour, and it had a Class 2 hyperdrive. It was armed with 2 laser cannons, but was generally designed for defense rather than offense. It had a crew of 2 and could carry several passengers, perhaps around 4. I expect it could also carry 10 tons of cargo and 1 month of consumables. Its price is pretty hard to say since it is small but has an unusually good repulsor lift, but I would estimate it to be around 75,000 credits. HWK-290. Next up is the Corellian Engineering Corporation HWK-290 Light Freighter. As I've mentioned before, this ship was more like a courier than a light freighter, but in this case that makes it a great ship for outrunning the law. The HWK is most famous for its use by smuggler Kyle Katarn, who made many quick getaways in his HWK-290. In his Hawk 290, the Moldy Grow. However, it was also popular among legitimate freight captains, and was marketed towards wealthy executives and government officials as a personal transport. This versatility meant that it could blend in wherever you were planning to escape from and not attract too much attention, whether you're in the wealthy financial and federal districts of Coruscant or the wretched backwater streets of Mos Eisley on Tatooine. The Hawk 290 was officially 29 meters long in Legends, but its on-screen appearance seemed to be a bit smaller than that, and the canon version definitely is. It seems to be more along the lines of 20 meters long by 16 meters wide and 6 meters tall. Unfortunately, its top speed was unknown, but based on its size and large number of engines, it was probably around 1,000 kilometers per hour. The ship also had a Class 2 hyperdrive. By default, it was unarmed, but most pilots upgraded theirs with a dual heavy laser cannon, and some even went so far as to add a proton torpedo launcher or an incendiary bomb bay. It required a crew of 2 and could carry 2 to 6 passengers, 3 to 6 months of consumables, and 75 tons of cargo. In Legends, it had a somewhat extortionate price tag of 135,000 credits new or 55,000 used, but in canon the price was a much more reasonable 70,000 credits. WTK-85A. Another good getaway vehicle would have to be the sub-pro WTK-85A Interstellar Transport. This transport and scout ship was designed to be simple and reliable, which would make it perfect for any burglar, spy, or rebel needing to make a quick escape. I feel like this one should be pretty self-explanatory, but in addition to checking all the boxes I defined earlier about what I'm looking for, it was pretty well armed for its size. Really, it's one of the best small personal transports in the galaxy for any role, and crooks looking for a getaway vehicle are no exception. The WTK measured 21 meters long by about 20.7 meters wide and 7.28 meters tall. Its top speed was said to be comparable to that of a Starfighter, so likely around 1,000 kilometers per hour, and it probably had a Class 1 or 2 hyperdrive. It was set up for 2 pilots to comply with safety regulations, but actually only required 1. It could also carry several passengers, probably at least 4, as well as around 10 tons of cargo and a month of consumables. Its price, as usual, was unknown, but I would guess it to be around 100,000 credits new or 70,000 used. Tug B13. And finally, the sub-pro Tug B13 Quadjumper would make for one of the best getaway ships in Star Wars. It was very small, but still had a cabin to store your comically large sacks of cash marked with a single green dollar sign on them, and it was such a common sight across the galaxy that it is unlikely to draw any attention parked in a dark alleyway next to the bank you are about to make a totally cool and legal cash withdrawal from. The Quadjumper is officially a space tug meant for moving cargo containers around in orbital transfer yards, but it is very common to see them in use as personal transports, hence its ability to blend in anywhere. Now that I think about it, the tugboat aspect of it could be useful for stealing things too. This video isn't specifically about heists, but I might have to make one in the future to discuss that aspect of the Quadjumper. I think that could be really fun. But anyway, even if you aren't yoinking a shipping container full of credits or whatever, it was still small, fast, and subtle, perfect for making a clean getaway. The Quadjumper measured 7.98 meters long by about 7 meters wide and 5 tall. It had a top speed of 1,150 kilometers per hour, and at least some were outfitted with a hyperdrive, likely a Class 2 or 3. The ship was unarmed by default, though it could be modified to include laser cannons. It was also outfitted with a winch and a dorsal magnetic clamp. It required a crew of 1 and could carry 3 passengers. The ship had very little internal storage for cargo or supplies, but it could likely carry at least 25 tons of cargo externally and 3 to 7 days of consumables internally. Finally, its price was unknown, but probably no more than 20,000 credits new or 10,000 used. And those are 5 of the best ships to use as getaway vehicles in Star Wars. Let me know which one was your favorite and what you'd like to see next. Please subscribe as well. I'd like to get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of next year, so if you aren't subscribed already, why not stick around for more? But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. RFC, out.